welcome to Mind Your Business, a channel where we are in everybody's business. If you don't mind getting in people's business, you're on the right channel. Talking about current topics and gossip.
Oh, so it was the final group reflections. And, you know, it's going to be weird now, isn't it, people? We've been watching this show every day for a number of weeks. So it's been like, oh my gosh, it's now come to an end. Well, go on, people, my Inquisitive crew, let's talk about Married at First Sight UK, the final. So it was mainly reflecting on, you know, all the couples' journeys up until where they are now. And of course, they are not all together, as we all know. There was only 3 couples left, together, standing by the end of the show, essentially. But we got to reflect across, some of their journeys. Not everyone was present. Nathaniel was not there and Arthur wasn't there. So we couldn't really delve into those particular aspects, which is a shame. But the experts did get to speak to all the other couples, of course. And first up was Jordan and Erica. I thought it was good that the experts helped to get Jordan to apologise to Erica. He shouldn't have taken, them to get him to do that. He should have done that anyway and be a bit more accountable. But, I hope that they do work out going forward. I can understand Erica being hurt and being a bit uneasy and having her guard up as a result of that. So hopefully they can move forward and move past that. And then we had JJ and Ella. And of course, Ella was talking about being accepted, going through her trans journey and having JJ accept her, which was really important to her and it helped to validate her experience, and she was getting really emotional about that. I have to say a big shout out to Bianca, because I felt like she handled herself so well throughout all this. Very graceful, very classy, and very sweet in the fact that she still wished them very well, because it must be really hard sitting there seeing how it all kind of transpired and then everybody kind of celebrating Ella and her journey. But there's somebody who was really hurt by it initially, so I'm glad she's moved past that, and I think that's good. And I feel like Bianca is definitely a true girl's girl in the way that she handled that and was like, there's no hard feelings. That's like a real girl's girl. So well done to her. She's really a sweetheart. Matt and Adrian, like I said in my video yesterday, I don't feel like she was really that into him. It sounded a little bit like excuses with the whole work thing and, getting back to work life and all that kind of stuff. I felt like he was really quite hurt by that. But anyway, I wish them both well in their journeys, separately, obviously. Laura, not much to say there because there was no Arthur. And there was no Nathaniel, once again. Luke and Jay. So one thing that did really irk me, though, about what happened to this evening was Luke, who was sitting there smirking and saying things under his breath when the experts talking to Jordan about his incident, and saying how he's going to get away with it, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. It was like, you just were sitting there like a little schoolboy bully. I just didn't understand it. It was like, why are you so infatuated with trying to bring down this person and bring on pain for somebody else or seeing somebody else in pain? All because of whatever happened between you guys. I think it was really immature and it showed that he just needed to grow up. And speaking about growth, I thought it was really interesting that he showed that he really didn't want to grow. The fact that Luke and Jay's split was quite disappointing. I've said this before. I thought they were a really strong couple. I felt like they were, well matched, but clearly, she was definitely into him and he seemed like he was really into her. She spoke about when they left, they got along well. He met her mum. They were doing well, but when she went back to work, she mentioned that he wasn't communicating enough with her. And I think sending the basic text isn't a big deal. I don't understand what's going on here. It's not a big deal. And I'm so glad that Paul, the expert, called him out on his excuses, because it did seem like it was excuses, He said that she ended it, but it sounded like she ended it because she wanted him to kind of chase her. And maybe she felt like he was kind of, brushing her off, I guess, because he wasn't really being receptive with the communication. So my heart really did go out to Jay in that whole situation. I know it must be hard for all involved, including, even though Luke was acting a bit like a dick, I still feel like it must be difficult for him too. And he has since put out a statement saying how, he was in a low place and it affected his mental health and he's been through a lot since then. I'll post those up for you so you can read them, because I'm not going to read it all, but I'll post them up for you. I was just really disappointed, to be fair. He said that he's never tried so hard in a relationship, but I feel like he just gave up. And it did sound like Jay wanted him to kind of, chase her. And you could tell that she still has a lot of feelings for him. So that was really, really disappointing, to be fair, And I'm glad that Paul called him out and said, you can either, you can stay stagnant or you can grow. You know, it's about evolving and growing. So I don't understand why he chose to be so stubborn in that situation. I hope he's like looked back on it now and he's actually being a bit more reflective and thinking, actually, yeah, I should grow and maybe I should mature and keep it moving. Because, you know, I feel like he started off so well and it's just a shame that it ended in that way. Peggy and George, I think they have definitely grown a lot. I feel like George has definitely grown. I mean, when he first started, I really wasn't a fan of George because I just thought he was very quite rude, you know, and going about boobs, going on about this. He seemed quite immature, like Paul mentioned. He's definitely gone from boy to man. So he's definitely grown a lot. But he's also showed that he's very, you know, tolerant. Look how he's been with Peggy. He dotes on her. He absolutely adores her. And he has definitely changed himself to accommodate her. Peggy has definitely been codependent, as Paul pointed out, with her family. So it's good that she's taken a step of independence. And, you know, them two seem to be going really strong. So good for them. So, and she mentioned that the family are now accepting him now, which is good. So I'm sure she feels happy about that. And hopefully, you know, wish them all the best in that whole situation. But I still feel like George will be having to pander to Peggy, and it is Peggy's world because it's Princess Peggy. So I feel like it's always going to be that way. But as long as they're happy, then that's good. Brad and Shona, I do love that Paul, the expert, called out Brad on his overly inflated view of his emotional intelligence. And that, you know, he then weaponizes it and, you know, shows up with good intentions, but his actions are terrible. His face said it all, but I'm glad that he accepted that feedback. I don't feel like he wanted to, but he definitely accepted it. And I'm glad that Shona didn't really want to be friends and just let them move on. And hopefully Brad can learn from this all. Tasha and Paul, you know, they are very cute and very smitten with each other. I think it's good that she's opened up and become more vulnerable. I will say what I said before, which I think that she needs to work on her anger management. So I hope that that does happen and that they can be a happy couple going forward. But I will say that my main complaint for the show, however, is the fact that I believe that the experts didn't hold the women accountable, because you had Paul holding, you know, Brad accountable for his behaviour, Luke accountable for his behaviour, you know, Jordan on his behaviour. But what about the rest? Like Laura, the way she spoke to him, the way that she belittled Arthur, I don't feel like they really pulled her on that. Tasha and her anger issues, they didn't really pull her on that. I mean, Ella, I don't feel like they really spoke about Ella's issue with, you know, trying to be overly sexual when, you know, trying to like put it on too much. I don't think they've done that. I think they was trying to be careful because of the fact that she is trans and they're trying to, you know, handle her with the kids' gloves. But I still felt like she still needed some constructive feedback on that, which is to, you know, slow down in some areas so that, you know, let things breathe and let things flow and don't force it. So I still felt like there was some feedback that they should be given to the women. Peggy as well, at times, I felt like she was just, you know, going in on George all the time. They didn't hold her accountable either. I do feel like it was good for this one, however, because today we did see her, you know, literally say lots of lovely good things about George, which is probably the first time I've seen her do that. So I was like, this is good. But I felt like that sort of feedback was missing. I don't know if it wasn't shown because of edits, but that would have been good to show, because it did seem like they were just, you know, lighting up the men, but letting the women kind of get away with it. But in latest news, Shona and Matt are a couple. They have found love with each other. So I'm really happy for them, to be honest, because Shona had, you know, was basically love bombed by Brad. He's moved on. You know, Adrian wasn't quite the right one for Matt, and, you know, he was hurt by that. But we know Shona did talk about she wanted kids and stuff, and it seems like they have a really cute bond. They were spotted out having coffee, so there were rumours about it. And now they have actually come out and confirmed that they are together. Take a look at this.
Oh my god, that's mental.
We need to accept.
Okay.
Accept.
You're gonna slap your face and stuff or what?
That's mental. Love you, Matty. So we need to
Love
accept.
you. Yeah. It's finally out.
We're free! I love you. Should I take Thomas's hat off, pal?
No, keep it.
And then just Thomas, hey.
We're free! I've been in.
Woo! So what do you think, people? Are we happy that Shona and Matt are a couple? I'm sure the experts are sitting there thinking, okay, well, we didn't, get it all right, but some of them have found their way around to each other anyway. What do you think, guys? Now, one thing I will say is that we know that with reality TV, you're putting yourself in the spotlight, and with that comes a lot of heavy criticism, be it on social media and in the papers, etc. So I'm sure a lot of them are kind of watching it back and seeing some of all the stuff. So I hope that they are taking care of their mental health. And speaking of mental health, I know that Jay and Luke have both put out their own statements. Luke has put out a statement saying that he had to go through therapy and that he was in quite a low place at this final. And so, he's mentioned also that he has received death threats, and that I think is just unacceptable. I mean, it is just a show, people. It is not that serious. No one should be getting death threats over being on a show and maybe saying a few things, because I feel like we're human beings. Everyone says things sometimes. Sometimes we can be dicks, sometimes we can be bitches, and sometimes we're just wonderful people, okay? So I feel like it's, it's swings and roundabouts. Everyone has their good days and their bad days. But he's put out a statement about it, and so has Jay.
Easy watch. It does upset me, because it just brings back all the feelings at the time of what happened. That was probably the worst day of the experiment for both of us, not just myself and Luke as well. Emotions were running very high. We were both really upset about the situation, but unfortunately it just weren't meant to be. And I'll always stand by Luke, and I'll always be eternal grateful for how he's accepted me. Straight away, the connection that we had was amazing. Our journey's been amazing together, and I still adore him to pieces. We're on really good terms. So please just bear in mind to be kind, because at the end of the day, we are still people with feelings. And I think as a viewer, some people tend to forget that. And we're just not characters of a book or of a film. This is actual real life, and these things actually happened, and our feelings and emotions are very raw. So please just take that into consideration before you make any nasty comments. Just be kind to people, because what I've learned from this experiment is that you can love yourself, and I've grown so much, and I actually do love myself now, whereas before I couldn't say that. And the confidence that I've built over the time, Luke has been a massive part of that, and I couldn't have done the experiment without him, and I wouldn't choose to be with anybody else either. So yeah, please just be nice and don't result into sending hate, because it's all good. Everybody have a lovely evening.
But I also believe that the shows do have a duty of care to all the contestants that they do have on the show. So I hope that they are doing a lot in terms of aftercare, and that they do a lot in terms of, pre-care as well. I mean, if you look at things like Love Island, there has been issues around them as well, and having issues around mental health, because, you're just thrusted into the spotlight. Obviously, you're going to be doing that, but it can be quite heavy. Particularly if you have been saying things on the TV shows that is going to get a reaction from the public. Now, Luke did mention in his statement that he thought that reality TV is quite toxic. In Luke's case, I am not sure what happened with Channel 4, because I do know that there was a article saying that he had been banned from the bonus episode that's coming up. Apparently, a source told the Mail Online that Luke's relationship with Channel 4 has deteriorated since his axing was aired. Not only did he come to blows with Jordan, but he's also used threatening language towards him on social media, which of course the channel deems unacceptable. Luke has spoken out about his experiences filming the show, and no doubt will do so again. The trust between him and Channel 4 has been lost. He doesn't feel great knowing that the majority of the cast are filming the special, and his invite was well and truly retracted. But they feel that right now his attitude is too difficult to manage. So according to reports on our special episode, will give us fans a chance to catch up on all the drama and tension that had unfolded off camera between the show's, brides and the grooms while the series has been airing. Because we know that basically they filmed it back in February and the reunion was filmed in July. So this bonus one has only, come up in the last few weeks. They sent out invites, hence why he's not been invited. But anyway, wishing them all the best. I think it has been definitely interesting viewing. I have enjoyed this season of Married at First Sight UK for sure. It has definitely been a juicy one. The UK one, Australia one is also my favourite too. So I'll be keeping my eyes peeled for that one when that comes back. But what do you guys think? Will you be missing the show? What do you think of the ending? Let me know your thoughts below.
Yes, so thanks for watching that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share and hit that notification bell so you know when I am uploading some more of people's business. So until then, my nosy people, stay blessed.